This video is brought to you by War Thunder.
Well, the list has got to start somewhere, and there isn't a worse place to begin than with the Jetta. The Jetta is a riot helmet that obscures both your hearing and vision, but it can protect you against blunt objects like hammers or clubs in an environment where literally everyone has a gun. Can you see the problem here? F tier. The firefighter helmet is built like Buzz Lightyear and has the protective qualities of boiled saran wrap. F tier. The coal pack bears the same protective qualities as the previous two helmets. However, for whatever reason, you tend to see it a little more often. Some 2-hour Timmy just bought this thing, hoping that it would protect him from getting head-eyes for the 5th time in a row. Unfortunately, he accidentally loaded into a nighttime factory raid and can't see a damn thing. The one redeeming quality of this helmet is that it actually has a hidden stat granting a buff to pity from whoever kills you, meaning they'll probably drop all your stuff. D tier. The Tatkek exists solely to troll new players into thinking they obtained something valuable, failing to realize that it's quite literally just an airsoft replica. F tier. Then there's the Shattered Face Mask. The Shattered Face Mask has basically no armored protection whatsoever, but it does have a high ricochet chance, meaning that it is able to bounce pretty much any round in the game if you get lucky. This means that on maps like Labs, where everyone already has extremely good ammo that's just gonna punch through whatever you put in front of it, the Shattered Face Mask is a semi-cost-effective measure. That, or the people who wear it just really like gambling and prefer the roulette spinner when it comes to protecting their gray matter. I respect the hell out of that. A tier. The 6B47 Ratnik is the baseline helmet that every other helmet in Tarkov is compared to. It's inexpensive and has decent protection at tier 3 with nearly complete coverage of the head. B tier. The covered Ratnik is identical in every way to the standard Ratnik except for its appearance. Because the camo cover is so similar in appearance to the standard model, you don't see this one particularly often. If someone is wearing this, there is a strong chance they are LARPing with a full Ratnik loadout. Still a B tier option though. The Snow Camo Ratnik is the budget option for people who want a completely white kit. Obviously, it's mostly worn in the winter months when there's snow on the ground, and as somebody who finds snow camo to just be the most attractive thing on the planet, I gotta put it in A tier. It looks too good, the drip is too perfect. The LSHZ is the budget helmet option for people who don't like the bucket appearance of the Ratnik. It's more expensive than the Ratnik and is worse overall with a lower ricochet chance and just less coverage. However, it does look cool. Most people who wear this just want a more tactical looking helmet and will wear it until they get reliable access to the tier 4 helmets. There is one notable thing about this helmet. If a player is using the LSHZ with the fast ballistic face shield, they are going to be really good at the game. I don't know what the connection is, but if you encounter somebody who has this and the face shield, you should probably run. The helmet itself is B tier though. The SSH-68 will always hold a special place in my heart, considering that I'm wearing one on my frickin' head right now. However, what they did to this helmet just makes me sad. They didn't just nerf this thing, they dragged it out into the back alley, stabbed it 28 times, set it on fire, and then tossed it into a wood chipper. This used to be one of the most common helmets in the game, worn by both new players and veterans alike, but now that it completely blocks every headset in the game, it's a genuine surprise to see it in raid on a PMC. F tier. While I could insert another haha funny UN bad meme right here, that horse is not but bones at this point. As an actual helmet, it's just the Ratnik, except ugly and bright and obvious. There's a reason people hate having to wear it for quests. D tier. The helm. Why would you wear this? Sure, it's a better LSHZ with more durability, but brother, if you are getting shot enough times in the head that the durability of a tier 3 helmet is a concern, you are not playing the game right. No one goes out of their way to buy this. Just buy a Ratnik. Sure, it's available from Ref, but I despise Ref as a concept, and the helm is going into D tier. The Kyver is maybe useful for the first week of wipe on Factory. If you need to get a couple of kills there, just bring this thing in and then run down a couple of poor pistolings who are trying to get stirrup done. After that 1 week of mild usefulness, it just drops off a cliff. D tier. The Sphera is like the Kyver, except the Sphera is never useful. I'm genuinely curious if anyone has taken this thing into a raid with the intent of playing seriously. I highly doubt it. One big question I do have is how did the R6 devs make it look so cool on Fuse, yet in Escape from Tarkov, it's the dumbest looking thing in existence? Regardless, the helmet is going into F tier. The tank helmet is not good on its own. It messes with your hearing and offers no protection. However, it can equip a very accessible night vision. This is not only a powerful tool in the very early wipe, but also if you equip both the night vision and the plague mask, you unlock one of the drippiest appearances in the game. C tier. Its protection is non-existent, but I mean, it's a tank helmet. The protection is supposed to be the several inches of armored steel in the armored vehicle you're in. That doesn't really apply to Tarkov, but it does apply to War Thunder. This video is brought to you by War Thunder, the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, and it's free to play on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox. Featuring over 2,500 vehicles from Tonka trucks to main battle tanks or balsa wood biplanes to supersonic jets, War Thunder has everything. Make your vehicle unique with in-depth customization, then drive it into the immersive fury of battle with authentic sounds and graphics. The game modes range from the drifting madhouse of arcade to the thrilling battles of realistic, all the way up to the extreme challenge of simulators, so no matter what type of player you are, War Thunder has you covered. Join over 95 million other players on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox using the link below. New players and players returning after 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack including a unique decoration, 100,000 silver lions, multiple premium vehicles, and 7 days of premium time. But hurry, this bonus is only available for a limited time, and thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Now we have the Cayman. Look, I know this helmet has its fans. I'm aware of the level 4 extra armor that you can put on top of this thing, and that by some weird hunky-dory math of Escape from Tarkov, having a layer of tier 4 armor over a layer of tier 3 armor does actually do something to the protection rating. However, the ballistic properties of stuff in this game relies on voodoo space magic math, and I don't really care about that because regular math is already kicking my ass, so I don't care for the helmet. It's ugly and it's expensive. It's going into C tier. The Tor 2 is, in my opinion, the only helmet with a face shield that is worth running other than an Alton. The helmet is relatively cheap, covers the ears, lets you wear a headset, and has a face shield that isn't wildly overpriced. It's tier 3 coverage around your entire head, so if you really hate scavs and don't want to put up with their buckshot chicanery, this is going to be your best friend. The only major downside is that the helmet is freaking heavy, coming in at 2.4 kilos. That's almost as heavy as an Alton. Still an A tier piece. The Arena CQCM is fine. There's definitely an argument here as to whether or not a face shield that gives you tier 3 protection, doesn't obstruct your vision at all, and allows you to wear a headset should be available only to arena players. However, if you are willing to subject yourself to the hellscape that is Tarkov Arena just to wear this thing, I'd say that's punishment enough. C tier for being forced to endure the hellscape that is Tarkov Arena. The standard Ronin is not good. The game even says it's not good in the item description, which I'm pretty sure is the only item to do that. Even worse, since you can't wear a balaclava with it, it just leaves the back of your neck completely exposed, which, no, ew, that's ugly. D tier. The Ronin Respirator, however, is fantastic. It offers tier 4 protection around the entire head without messing with the vision whatsoever. Sure, it's really annoying to unlock and absolutely nukes your hearing, but if you squint really hard, it kind of looks like the EOD helmet from Halo 3. Which is all the justification that I need to put it into S tier. The black ACHHC is one of the few helmets that is actually worth purchasing in Escape from Tarkov. It's tier 4 protection and it's 60,000 rubles from Ragman. It's the baseline helmet for tier 4. A tier. The green ACHHC is the exact same, except you need an all green loadout because you're going to woods. A tier. The Bastion is oddly cheap, especially compared to other similar options. In my opinion, its shape looks better than an ACHHC and it can mount night vision, all for 66,000 rubles. That might sound like a good chunk of change, but when you compare it to a lot of the other tier 4 helmets, it's not even close. A tier. The U-Lock is the helmet of choice for players that hate face shields. Sure, it doesn't cover my face, but I prefer a clean screen over a tier 3 face shield. It's annoying that you can't buy it from traders anymore, but if you partake in any level of PvP and win, you will have a steady supply of these things. S tier, fantastic choice. The tan U-Lock has identical stats to a black U-Lock, except obviously it's tan, but you can buy it from Ragman. Sounds great, right? Unfortunately, this thing is the single most cursed object I have ever laid eyes upon in a video game. This thing has a hidden stat where it inflicts misfortune, pain, and misery upon any poor bastard foolish enough to put it on their head. This thing has ruined more of my raids than I can possibly recall. I once went a solid month without encountering a cheater, and then I wore one of these 2 raids in a row and got gaming chaired off spawn both times. It is pain and suffering in pixelated form. Avoid it at all costs. F tier. The Death Shadow Mask is pretty expensive at 60k, and it only offers tier 2 protection. However, at the end of the wipe, everyone's running it, so if you're good at PvP, again, you'll have a steady supply. It pairs wonderfully with the U-Lock, and I love it because it keeps me safe from evil-ass Taz scavs without occluding my vision. You know, unlike every face mask that for some reason looks like a toddler was playing Fruit Ninja on it. This thing's going into S tier. The TC2001 isn't the most attractive looking helmet, and I believe it is by stats the worst tier 4 helmet in the game. That being said, it's typically pretty cheap, and for whatever reason, you can find it in raid all the time. This thing is the Little Caesars of tier 4 helmets. Is it the highest quality? No, but it's hot and it's ready and it's $6, so we respect it. B tier. The TC2002 has many of the same qualities as the TC2001. Oftentimes, it's even cheaper. However, I have a personal vendetta against this helmet because for the longest time, I thought those little ear nubs actually covered your ears. I know the fins on the side are small, but they're there and they're visually distinct from the TC2001, so I thought they'd make an impact. This had me fooled for years. Is my ignorance my fault? Absolutely, but I'm blaming the helmet. C tier. Now we have where I really start to get controversial, and that is with the Fast MT helmet. This thing is so wildly overpriced for what it offers. Yeah, I know it can mount a face shield, that's the big draw, but you can't even buy the helmet unless you go through a barter. That barter does have the face shield and headset, so it's kind of nice, but it's over 200,000 rubles on a good day. Mind you, this is for a face shield that's only class 3. Just buy a Tor 2. The ergonomic penalties even out to about the same. This thing is going into C tier. My frustrations continue with the Fast MT Tan. The helmet itself is about 115,000 rubles and is unlocked pretty late with the cargo quest line. Then you have to buy the face shield for 50,000 rubles, and you're looking at a complete package of 165,000 rubles for a tier 3 face shield and no ear protection. Why? C tier. The TC800 tends to be cheaper and it can mount the face shield. However, that doesn't stop it from being completely overpriced for what it offers. C tier. If you're going to splurge and really want to use a fast face shield, just buy an airframe. I still think it's overpriced for what it provides, but if you want to burn money, buy an airframe, buy the face shield, buy the chops. You'll have extra face protection and it covers your ears while you're still able to wear a headset. You also unlock this before you unlock the Tan Fast MT for whatever reason. Airframe's going into A tier. The Tan Exfil is another superior option to the Fast MT. It has a visor and ear protection that allows you to wear a headset. You can only wear the M32s though. I'm not sure why that headset specifically. I'm not sure if they just forgot to make them incompatible, but for the time being, that's your option. The helmet itself, B tier. The Black Exfil can't have a face shield, which is like 90% of the reason for buying an Exfil in the first place. I don't know why. Why can't it have a face shield? I know why. It's not modeled with the correct mount, but I don't understand why BSG would do that and then add a face shield that is color matching it with the black hardware. So maybe they did it just to mess with people. I don't know. It just seems like an odd choice. The helmet, C tier. The Strike helmet is incredibly ugly. I don't know why I find it so repulsive to look at, but it's like a visceral, instinctual reaction, and I hate it. F tier. The Green Flux helmet is unremarkable. It doesn't do anything to justify its price, and it doesn't have any unique shtick or gimmick to help it stand out. Otherwise, it's just a fine tier 4 helmet. C tier. The white flux helmet is the try-hard helmet of choice for the winter months, and it looks absolutely incredible. Beautiful snow camo pattern on a nice looking helmet shape in tier 4 protection to top it all off. I love it. I'm throwing it into S tier. I can't wait for winter to come back to Tarkov just so I have an excuse to use this thing again. The Neo Steel helmet is another fairly unremarkable piece. Sure, it has the cool looking mandible with the shark teeth painted on, but that thing's only tier 3 protection and costs as much as a down payment on a house. Also, if I'm hunting Killa for his quest and I finally kill him and he's wearing this frickin' thing, I'm burning down interchange again. F tier. We have discussed several unremarkable helmets in Tarkov. That's just gonna happen when you have this many. However, perhaps the least remarkable of them all is the ZSH helmet. I genuinely forget that this thing exists until I spot it on a dead scav guard. And according to the wiki, apparently not even scav guards are wearing this thing anymore. So it's even less relevant than it used to be. The Kyver is unlocked early enough that it might be situationally useful super early in the wipe in a very specific setting, but the ZSH is just unlocked too late, and that tier 3 protection on the face shield is wholly inadequate for a helmet that nukes your hearing. The LSHC-2DTM is very similar to the ZSH, except it has a tier 4 face shield, meaning that it is sort of usable sometimes. I can't think of too many scenarios where it's actually useful, but the occasional dorms venture with an RPD is a good bit of fun. It's still just gonna go into D tier though. The Masca and Killa helmet are used by two types of players: cheaters and tweakers. Cheaters are obvious. The helmet offers decent protection at the exchange of destroying both your hearing and your vision, but that doesn't really matter that much if you can see where every player is at on your second monitor. The legit group of players who use this thing do so as if they lack any gray matter whatsoever. Their brain function rivals that of the average Twitter user, and their strategy can best be summarized as monkey see, monkey shoot. Honestly, paired with the helmet, it's a pretty effective strategy so long as you're in a hallway or some other cramped space, but as soon as you go anywhere that has even a mildly open space, this helmet becomes a massive hindrance. The Atomic CQCM should be everything that I love. Its tier 4 protection completely covers your face, doesn't affect your vision at all, and it allows you to wear a headset. That's pretty good. However, the hipster in me despises this thing because every tryhard to ever touch the game wears one. This thing became synonymous with the MDR and MCX Spear because that was the meta loadout, and I am going to press all my hatred for that style of play onto this face mask. It should be an S tier. It is functionally an S tier item. However, I'm gonna put it into B tier out of spite. The Elson is one of the only heavy helmets that is worth running. It neuters your hearing and messes with your vision, but it can take a disgusting amount of damage. You might exit the fight with 3 contusions, 5 concussions, and a partial brain hemorrhage, but so long as you have 2 neurons to rub together, the Elson will see you through. A tier. Unless you aggressively run streets, the Rise team might as well not even be in the game anymore. There are a whopping 3 quests that reward this helmet. Otherwise, the only way to get it is to craft one, which takes 3 hours and requires you to have an Alton for the craft anyways. The Alton and Rise T are functionally identical, so unless you really want that black helmet, it's just not worth it. Unless you love hunting Kaban for whatever reason, you aren't gonna see this thing. As somebody who doesn't like going streets unless forced to, it's going into D tier. The Tagilla mask is a fantastic choice as the poor man's Alton. It's relatively easy to farm because farming Tagilla is just not a hard thing to do, and also it doesn't crack when shot. It can take as much punishment to the face as you want. That visor is not gonna crack. A tier. Then there's the Vulcan. Literally no one wears the Vulcan. This thing is the Balenciaga of helmets in Tarkov. It is so stupidly expensive and provides you with nothing of value. Sure, the helmet is tier 5, but the only way to obtain one without finding it in raid is to barter a graphics card with Ragman. Even now that the player count of Tarkov is undoubtedly in a slump, a graphics card is 300,000 rubles on the flea market. And that's just for the helmet. You still have to get the face shield. A face shield, which I will remind you, is only class 4. Even when the helmet was tier 6 years ago, no one used this helmet because unfortunately, getting head eyes isn't just a meme, it's a lifestyle in Escape from Tarkov. everyone gets shot in the face. So having tier 4 protection on the face for a helmet that costs around 350,000 rubles is just ridiculous. F tier. And that'll about do it. Once again, thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Download the game for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox using the link below, and you will also receive that massive bonus pack of 100,000 Silver Lions, a unique decoration, multiple premium vehicles, and 7 days of premium time. But again, it's only available for a short period of time, so move swiftly. And then on a real note, real quick, I know I've been gone for a while. I'm really sorry about that. It's just, especially with the hardcore wipe, it's been very difficult to get any content in my style going. And at this point, I think we're just going to wait for the 1.0 release of Escape from Tarkov to start making content on it again. In the meantime, I do have a few ideas for other games. I know I say that all the freaking time, but trust me, this time, I mean it. That Baldur's Gate video that I've been talking about for over a year, I'm working on it. It'll come soon. Trademark. But otherwise, just thank you guys so much for sticking around. Sorry for, disappearing for over a month, and that's not an uncommon occurrence. I do want to get better at that, so hopefully I can get something out to you guys on a more regular basis, at least every 2 weeks at the bare minimum, until 1.0 releases. Then we'll maybe get back on track, but with school popping off, and it's pretty tough this year, so we'll just have to see. I'm not streaming after this because I got a fluids lab that I still have to work on. But, otherwise, just thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a whole lot, especially all the way to the end. And I really do hope you enjoyed.